I love that you focus so much on the mindset stuff, and I mentioned at the beginning how vulnerable you are about all the shit of life, as I put down there in the and there's a lot of things that we go through in life. And I talk a lot in my own work about the childhood trauma and how it impacted me, but even like the ramifications of the ripple effect of how it impacted going into adulthood. And like just now, I'm 50 years old. I'm just now at the point where I'm like, I've dealt with it the last 3 years and I feel like I'm in a good spot. But some people, they never get to that point where they're even wanting to broach getting into fixing it because it's just too painful in their mind's eye. It's too painful to go there again. How do you do that?
hmm a lot of it comes from shame. Like we feel shame over things that we view as failures, which I really don't view anything as a failure as long as you learn a lesson from it. Like nothing's really a mistake. It's
Right.
really just experience. Like that's how I view things now. There's no right or wrong answer. So you guys, like you really have to deal with the root issue of things, which whether it's childhood trauma or past relationship trauma or bad experiences that you've had dieting, or like kids were terrible to me when I was heavier in school, and I carried that with me throughout adulthood, and I was probably in my mid 30s. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in July before I really loved myself and made peace with that, and I didn't feel shame from it anymore. Or I've been divorced twice. Like people who are divorced like just think they're terrible people just because they had relationships that didn't work out, but that's fine. Like it was just an experience, and as long as you learn from that and you're a better person now because of it, like nothing's a failure. Nothing. So it's really getting rid of that shame piece, because that's like one of the lowest emotions, like on the emotion scale, is shame. And when you can make peace with that, forgive yourself, and just love yourself unconditionally for whatever, whether you work, whatever you look like if you're in a relationship or not, like if you can come to a point of peace and you're happy with your life, like really everything else is going to be lighter and so much better for you.
Here, here. Although better, easier said than done, because there's a lot of people that they do start to get in their own head, especially with like the relationship thing, where they desire it so much, and then past relationships kind of dictate, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And that's okay to be introspective and kind of say, how can I be better for whoever the next person is? But it kind of, after a while, and rejection and kind of all the things that go with it, it's hard to get your mind out of that negative mentality that I'm going to get out of this.
Mhm.
And so that giving people hope in the midst of the journey, that's the tricky part. And I feel it. I see it in your writings. I see it in your
Mhm.
videos all the time. You pour out your heart about your frustration with things, but I love how you always kind of, but I'm okay because I'm a badass woman, because I'm
Mhm.
going to keep being me, and that will attract the right vibe, the right everything to bring that person in my life that I want.
You truly have to love yourself. Like too many people are attached to outcomes. They set expectations. They have this freaking check off list, for whatever it is, diets. Yeah, I can do this or not, or guys or women, yes, she checks all the boxes, whatever. But when you're so attached to something and you desire it so much, like that's when you repel things. Like it runs away from you. Like you really have to learn to let go. Just love yourself where you are, learn to be in the moment. Learn to love your journey. It's just like dieting, relationships, professionally, whatever. Like if you love every step of the journey, whether it's a good experience or a not so good experience, there's nothing that you can't do because you've let go of the expectation of things and you're present in the moment and you just take things as they come to you. Like if you love yourself, everything's going to be fine. You don't need anyone to complete you. I can think I can speak for most of us. None of us want to be alone the rest of our lives. It would be really nice to find somebody that's pretty freaking awesome, like to enjoy and live life with. But you don't need someone else to complete you. You don't need to be a certain size to be whole. You don't need to look a certain way to be whole. And it just really all comes down to self love. Everything does.
I love the meme that's out there right now. Those of you who are in the dating world, choose wisely. They're going to be your apocalypse partners. So
Absolutely. Choose your circle and your environment wisely. Like if there's one piece of advice, I know I hear this a lot from married, couples, like my partner doesn't support me. Okay, well, communication's everything. I think most of
yeah,
you guys know that. Communication's everything. Have you communicated how you feel? Like, don't place blame on the other person, but just explain, like, I'm making these choices, whether it's, with your job or your diet, because this is how I want to feel. Because if I feel this way, I'm going to be able to better serve other people. You got to communicate that first and foremost with that other person. If you are constantly butting heads with whether it's friends or coworkers or whatever, and it is not serving you in a positive way and there's nothing you can do about it, you do have the choice to change that. You do have the choice. And again, that all stems from like self-worth, mindset, believing in what you deserve. Like, so be mindful of your circle, because what is it? You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with and your environment. So take notes. Like, what are you consuming? Whether it's food, social media, your friends around you, bad habits, where are you going? What are you consuming? Like, are you consuming, things that are nourishing to you, that are going to make you want to be a better person, or are you not? Because you can cut that stuff from your life.
it's been 3 years since the release of my last book, but now I have written a brand new book called One Step Deeper Journal: The Foundations, featuring my co-host of my One Step Deeper podcast, Brittany Lee Davis. And this, you guys, is going to be an incredible book for those of you who struggle with mindset, struggle with why you believe things the way you do, if you've gone through any kind of trauma in your life. We got you. It's a 40-day journal. We're going to take you through all of the different topics. Brittany and I actually give you a lot of our own personal story. There will be lots of places to do journal entries where we prod you. This is one of the proudest books I've ever written, and it's available at onestepdeeperjournal.com. Within the next few days, we're expecting it to be available on Amazon, so go check it out. One Step Deeper Journal: The Foundations. Yeah, and you should cut them from your life. Sometimes life will cut them for you. I went through a pretty bad breakup in my marriage and divorce 3 years ago, and like immediately lost 90% of the people in my life. 90%. I mean, damn, talk about choosing sides. F you, all you people that left my life.
So quick, especially I get it. My first divorce, I was college sweetheart with him 11 years, married 6 years. Everybody only knows you as a couple, and you lose a lot of friends. Like, you figure out who your friends really are when that kind of stuff happens, or
Well,
you hit bottom and like there were only people there supporting you through the good times. But that's okay. You got to learn to let those people go, because that's the universe protecting you for better
oh,
come into your life. Like, just let it go. Block and bless, like I like to say, block and bless.
what has
Bye
since
bye.
what has happened since then, Katie, is my tribe is smaller, but they're fucking
Awesome.
devoted to Jimmy. They love me. Ironically, I connect with lady guys are stupid. Like, guys have no intelligence. I'm sorry, dudes. If you have emotional intelligence, I apologize, but I haven't found one that
Uh,
has kind that will keep up with me. And even a lot of girls don't have the emotional intelligence either. But the ones that do, I vibe with. This is why I love your work. I really like connect with you on a deeper level than most people, only because you show that vulnerability that's just it's so evident to everybody. I see a lot of your followers on here talking about how much they love you and everything. So
I have
kudos.
the best social media. My digital family is awesome. I talk to you guys every day. You guys brighten my day. I just hope you know how much I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, the Jimmy tribe the same way. They follow me with everything. I'm doing ice baths for 5 minutes daily in 32-degree water every single day, and they're right here every day. Uh,
Awesome. It makes the world so much smaller. Like, people are like, "Aren't you like lonely?" And I was like, "Nope. Big difference between being alone and lonely." I was like,
yes.
I get on social media whenever I want, and I have tons of people to talk to. Like, I'm never alone. Like, have the
Oh,
best life.
You trip me out because I'm probably one of the few people that's up as early as you are.
Oh,
Sometimes
really?
you'll respond to something where I've commented on your story or something, and you'll be like, "Oh, hey," and it's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, and you're in Central, right?
I am time. So I'm up typically like when I work a 12-hour shift, I'm usually up at 4 a.m.
Okay,
Even when I sleep in, if I sleep in until 6 a.m., like I'm doing good.
yeah, and so you're up also early to head to the gym, and because you've definitely done a lot of work on yourself to get that.
Oh, yeah, it's taken a long time. It's
Yeah,
probably been over a decade to build like, the physique that you guys see today. So know that it doesn't happen overnight. Oh
and
yeah,
and
your
you've
people
been doing a
favorite.
you've been you've been doing a cut lately, so tell us
Yep.
about that experience because you're not doing it for a show or
Oh
any
no.
did it
Well,
for
I'm
you.
gonna have photos taken, so I'm gonna have another photo shoot. It's time to have like an updated photo shoot. So you guys will have to look for that. They're always so much fun. I haven't dieted in 2 years, so I've been eating at maintenance or surplus for about 2 years. I decided for shits and giggles, I was like, all right, I can manage my lifestyle. It's time to experiment. I just want to kind of see like how my physique is going to respond by making these specific changes because I've learned a lot over the 2+ years. So that gives me better information to help serve you guys when you're asking me specific questions about, well, I'm ready to diet first and foremost. What kind of changes, helped you? So for me going through this experience, I'm better able to help you guys out. And I hate labeling, like somebody asked if I'm keto or carnivore. I'm not keto. I don't do well on a high fat diet. I do better on a high protein diet, and this is just me. So I just say I'm on a meat based diet because I still eat meat, eggs, occasional social alcohol. I still drink, diet pop on occasion or like coffee. Like I'm not strict carnivore by any means. I like to say I'm a liberal carnivore. Like I don't believe, and you guys are free to eat however you want. Like I hate slapping labels on things. So
I had a guy on yesterday, Brad Kearns, and he says he's on the CNC diet. I was like, CNC, like CNC Music Factory? He's like, well, no, carnivore and dark chocolate.
oh my god, I love it.
So
Uh,
you're on the C and B, you're carnivore and bourbon.
but I was gonna say, it's kind of like coffee, carnivore, and bourbon. Cocktails, it is what it is. As long as you're not doing things in excess, like
Yeah.
airs, if they bring joy to your life, like go have fun. We're only here for a short period of time.
Make a bourbon glaze for the top of your steak. There you go.
Hey, hey, you know what? I'm not the best steak cooker. I will admit to that. I'm great with the air fryer. I love my meat bars. But oh yeah, I mean I have so many friends that are like awesome cooks. Like it's so fun. And it's not hard to order good food when you go out either. People are like, "How do you eat the way that you eat?" And I go, "Every place you go has a meat order. They've got meat options. You just have to speak up. Like if you have special needs as far as your diet, it's not hard. It's the easiest diet to stick to. I
E-
order meat with a side of meat. Like my parents laugh when we go out because my mom's always like, "Well, she's gonna order salmon and probably a steak or like ground, chicken, a chicken breast or something." It's not hard. You just got to speak up.
Even like Olive Garden has
Oh, yeah.
animal.
They have the best grilled salmon. Their salmon's really good.
Yeah, so people like to make excuses. Well, I can't do that because dot dot dot, and then they fill in the blank, and it's
Yeah.
bullshit.
It's like, no, like you can even go to a bar or a bowling alley or whatever. Like most places have like chicken wings or like, something like that you can order. You just ask, no seasoning, if I can get no seasoning, cook light on the oil, ask them about what oils like the food's cooked in. It is not hard to eat that way. And most places, if you say I have special digestive needs, they will cook your food however you want.
Yes, and if you're very adamant about that, they will be very careful about what they let touch your food. Yeah, I started carnivore a little over 4 years ago. I kind of was keto. I was already kind of merging to mostly animal foods anyway, and I'm like, why not? My ex-wife was like, "Are you going to have cauliflower or broccoli?" I'm like, "I'd rather have another burger, really,
Right.
honestly." And so, so when I travel, it's super easy. Even like fast food restaurants. I know people kind of poo poo on those, but I'm like, McDonald's burgers will do in a pinch.
Good.